guys and gals? Nary here from Drake Wayne Gaming. If you know me on Twitter, the Gaming Drag. Today I'm coming back at you another Let's Play episode of Interea. So yeah, before we jump into it, just wanted to let y'all know that our Patreon is now up for as little as $5. Y'all can help support the channel and get some awesome rewards like full permanent access to our community Discord server and access to our upcoming Not Safe for Work videos. Anyway, y'all, let's go ahead and jump right back in. Alarm chain, you were up. And let's go. Amicus gives me a look like this is something I should have told him. It's pretty formal, not really something that friends do. How did you know about it, though, Bjarni?
Oh, it was shown to me during the briefing for this mission. Considering that we're preparing to integrate humanity into our daily interactions, we thought it best to start the process with you. Actually, the program was set up by you, Your Majesty.
Oh, right.
Perhaps I should undergo these programs before implementing them. Well, you're very busy running the moon and all. Besides, having the first human on Ad Astra as your companion is quite a bit more useful than knowing the intricacies of handshaking.
It is a nice advantage, yes. Amicus pulls me against his side in a quick side hug, the human-style physical contact he's more familiar with. Amicus then shifts to gesture behind himself. Anyway, this is my sister and advisor, Virginia Neferu, the unofficial ambassador from Kyllian, the Pharaoh's second son.
Pleasure. Greetings.
There's a bit more small talk, and it's clear that Bjarni actually finds Neferu more exotic than me, with a long tangent about the state of affairs on Kyllian. Finally, though, Bjarni clears his throat.
Alright, let's begin the briefing. Just an overview of the itinerary along with general specifics of each location, mainly for those of us who are not native to the moon.
The bear fishes around his person, reaching into an unseen pocket and pulls out a tablet. Rather than the more common rod-style tablet, it's the type designed to act as a projector for more public demonstrations.
After discussions with the Triumvirate and analyses of our current political situation, we've decided on visiting 3 locations. First, we shall visit the city of Lux. Officially, it is known as Ad Astra's frontier city in the harsh mountainous regions of the far north. Unofficially, it is known as the City of Defiance. Due to Cassius's popularity there and Amicus's general unpopularity, pardon me, Your Majesty.
Amicus waves his paw like it's not a problem or for him to go on.
We thought it best to make it the main priority. Lux is the largest producer of natural resources on Ad Astra. Look at the history of the city shows that times of frequent protests, rioting, and strikes, which would often disrupt industries all over Ad Astra, usually resulted in failed emperors. By visiting Lux first, we show that they are our #1 priority. With Cassius present, he can play a role in winning more support for Amicus.
Bjarni pauses, glancing at Cassius, who seems to be staring out the window. Alex suddenly nudges him.
Oh, yes, indeed.
Do you have a speech prepared, Cassius?
I do not need to prepare speeches, Amicus.
Cassius points at his head.
Unlike you, I know what they want, therefore the speech is already written. The question is if you will truly do what you want me to promise them. I will not lie to a people who have already been deceived by the emperors of old and new.
There's an awkward silence. We'll speak more of this on the way there. Bjarni clears his throat again.
Anyway, Lux has also requested that we take one of their triumvirs with us so that they may play a role in talks with other regions of Ad Astra.
That will depend on his skill at Pugnu.
What?
It is not my place, but I advise some caution as the triumvir who has challenged you was once Pugnu champion of the province.
What, 30 years ago or so? I see my feelings reflected in Virginia's posture as she has her face buried in one paw. Bjarni seems to be thinking, then says quickly,
Actually, if he's easily beatable, consider losing on purpose, as there is no doubt that a loss, and thus a loss of representation, on the tour will result in protests and riots. Moving on.
Amicus stutters over his words but doesn't interrupt. After this briefing, I hope I can convince him to settle this political issue in a non-violent way.
From there, we will visit the city of Lupus, considered the cultural epicenter of Ad Astra. This is where you might play a role, Kyllian.
I shift on the bench I'm seated on. Oh? Second now, water time. Alright. I look at Amicus, frowning, but he looks just as confused as me.
This is a bit last minute, but it was suggested by their triumvirate that seeing and hearing a human speak might help them adjust to the idea of future human contact.
Oh, yeah, of course. I could use some guidance on the speech, though.
Never fear. Most of us do not have the gift of a flowing tongue like Cassius, therefore a speechwriter has already prepared your remarks.
That makes me feel better, but I'm surprised when it's Neferu that speaks up.
Forgive me for interrupting, but is that a wise decision? Because, and correct me if I'm wrong, isn't that the center of operations for the separatist movement currently gaining momentum? I've seen their demonstrations, and while it is mainly imagery of myself being used to evoke their anger, Kyllian's likeness is also being used.
Really? I thought it was only anti-Kyllian. I assume that their feelings towards the primates is more cautious rather than hateful.
It's not the separatists, but rather a cult devoted to the Wolven gods and Wolven supremacy. That's not to say that there isn't a great deal of crossover. There is, but the cultists appear too strange for the separatist brand, so they are kept separate.
What?
I'm clearly completely out of the loop, and I feel like Amicus should have told me this. I look at him accusingly, but now his posture mirrors that of Virginia's not too long ago. Actually, and I know it is not my place to say this, but I would advise Kyllian not to visit Lupus in its current state. This is the same cult that attempted to plant a bomb on the Forum, but botched it when the one doing the planting blew himself up. It's quiet for a moment. Then he adds, as if it's an afterthought, and they did burn an effigy of Kyllian in their most recent demonstration. I look at Amicus again, but he whispers to me.
Let's speak in private after the briefing, alright?
I just nod, not sure what to think right now. Bjarni clears his throat once again.
Well, that's all up to you and the Emperor, of course. Though I will remind everyone that security will be airtight during the entire journey, so... Another awkward pause. Moving on. The last destination is Adrote, at Astra's Entertainment and Resort City. This will be a moment to relax after work is done in the previous cities, though of course this is also an opportunity to show the public your more sapient side, to remind them that you are not a soulless robot.
Bjarni puts away his tablet, then looks at us expectantly.
So, those are our main goals for the next few weeks. Any questions?
When is departure?
In about 1 hour. It would have been about right now, but the delay is forcing another security check. Apologies for that.
No, that's actually good. Amicus, Kyllian, please discuss what we just heard so that will be sorted out before we leave.
Alright, this way, Kyllian.
I stiffly follow the wolf down a hallway until it seems we're out of earshot.
Think this is private enough?
I guess. Why does it need to be private?
Well, Virginia likely just doesn't want to hear it, and I know you prefer privacy when the conversation is about you.
But it's about my duties, right?
You have no duties, Kyllian. Just opportunities if you so wish to take them.
I mean, I think I should be obligated to do some things.
But not if it endangers your life.
That's the nature of what we're doing. And what's with that separatist movement? An occult? You told me this was a vacation.
The majority of it is, but there will be portions involving the usual politics of it all.
But what about the cult and burning effigies of me?
Yes. No, excuse me. Yes, this is something I was not aware of. I will need to look into it to make sure that damned cat wasn't just lying to stir up trouble again. If that is the case, though, I would agree that you shouldn't make the speech despite having impenetrable security. I'd rather you not enter the city, in fact.
If security is airtight, I think I can handle at least giving a short speech to show I'm a walking, talking sapient, you know?
Do not give the speech.
Ah. Yeah, I want to give the speech. Amicus remains frozen, and it's clear that he desperately wants to say no. Amicus notices Nephrio down the hall, lurking about while looking at the statues, probably trying to catch bits of our conversation. The wolf takes my hand and guides me through the nearest doorway next to us. It's an atrium, the sun currently at an angle that doesn't allow much light in. Amicus takes me to a corner, then takes a deep breath. Oh, that's pretty.
Alright. I know that I've made promises to trust you, that I won't ever tell you what to do, but I'll still advise you, and it's just, have you ever had a really bad feeling about something that something just isn't a good idea?
Second, Neil, water time.
Yeah, all the time, Amicus. And how do you feel about this exactly?
Amicus is looking at me carefully. Do not give the speech. I roll my shoulders like I'm physically filling something out. Yeah, pretty good, I think. What? Alright, ready to head back?
No.
I fold my arms, tilting my head, and I knew you'd do this sort of way. Amicus huffs in annoyance. I'm teasing Amicus, but I think I know what he's talking about. If this feeling that he's talking about is what I'm hearing, and if it's the same for him. It's very hard to explain, Kyllian. I know it must seem terrible, the way I promise you complete agency, yet question all of your decisions. But this is honestly different. I'm truly worried for your safety, and I think it would be irresponsible of me to let you walk into a situation you don't fully understand. I mean, you could have me filled in on some of this.
Yes, and I admit there are things I should have told you, but I know that you yourself are under a great amount of pressure in different ways. I suppose I must admit that some things I just choose not to tell you because it would only bring you misery. I surely would have told you the goings-on in Lupus if I'd known about the speech and direct interaction with its people. I just want you to feel able to relax at some point. And that was going to happen until that damn bear switched up the schedule.
He's just doing his job, and I should be doing mine.
Listen.
Sorry, am I interrupting?
Oh, that's cute. We both look up to see Neferu lounging in the doorway in the most come hither way I've ever seen. Which is definitely saying something. What the hell? Don't ask idiotic questions just to make an entrance. This is a private conversation. Didn't you hear Virginia?
Yes, but she asked me to listen in and offer my own advice to make sure you don't create more conflict down the road.
About making the speech. I've already made my decision. Neferu walks up to the sofa and lounges in it casually. This is really good art.
Did he mention Lupus's history of assassinations? They're quite good at killing those who are instrumental to the de-radicalization in alliances.
Amicus looks back at me, breathing hard. It's difficult to remember every single thing he needs to know, and Amicus is sputtering and stumbling through words like I've never seen before. Hey, it's okay. You want to avoid the stuff that's going to make me worry. I do that with you too, but these are things I need to know now. I'm part of all this, and that's going to bring a lot of responsibility with it.
He's right, you know. You should have at least mentioned the movement, because that directly involves him.
It doesn't involve him. They are involving him against his will. Amicus snarls in frustration. Damn them all!
Well, it's not really about me, though, is it? I'm just giving an idea to them, and they want to destroy that idea, so giving a speech could be a good idea. It's like Cassius and Lux. I could sway the less radical people if they're able to see that I'm not, I don't know, a terrible monster.
Amicus sighs deeply once again, closing his eyes and keeping them closed. It's almost like he's listening for something. Parental guidance, maybe? Do you think I should give the speech, Neferu? Jackal seems to think for a bit.
I have two answers. As your friend, no. I think there would be too much risk for me to feel comfortable with you being in public anywhere in Lupus.
Amicus nods quietly.
From the standpoint of a political ally, though, I think it would be advantageous for us both, and I will be making public appearances there as well.
It actually makes me feel a bit better. Do not make the speech. Then I'll do it. This is my duty. Shades of Mira. Amicus is quiet for a bit, then nods. Like, no? Water time? Is that the monitor saying that? That's an odd thing to say. Shades of Mira. Interesting. Like, oh, for the love of God. Alright. Though I'm going to have a word with that bear. I do not trust the way he briefed us. I'm the Emperor and I should be let know these things before announcing in ways that completely embarrass me. Sorry, I just came to mention that the security check is on track and complete sooner than thought. Was there something you wanted to say to me? Oh, just that, let me give you some privacy. I'm gonna visit the restrooms. Bjorni walks in as I walk out, leaving Amicus to deal with that particular situation. My mind is cluttered at the moment, though, trying to figure out several things out at once. Something about the way the parents, or whatever it was, tried to manipulate my voice. Well, left me feeling angry, and I have that voice return, and to have that voice return when things are becoming dangerous again is too much. It will only lead me to scenarios like that they didn't plan for or whatever. They don't know what they're doing, and for them to start making all these ominous warnings again about something that could be helpful to all of us is making me more angry. I see Alex in the main hall off to the side, reading the inscriptions on the statues. I'm going to tell him about what's being said about him, if only because I feel it's the right thing to do, and because the parents try to silence me for speaking up about it. As I walk toward him, time stops. Oh, shit. There's a certain amount of satisfaction that I feel, along with a good helping of fear, but I'm not letting them fuck things up a second time. I want real answers before this plan of theirs is put into action. Huh. Well, you've changed. You could say this is exactly what I wanted to happen, but I doubt I'll be able to get what I want from them all that easily. And you haven't. I try to adjust to the feeling of speaking without having a throat to speak with. At least I can't be manually silenced with my synthetic vocal cords. The dragon stares back at me with his typical unfazed stoic glare. Stoic stare. Stoic stare. Stoic glare. It is not I who makes the decision. I don't care. I'm not doing this again. What? Again, I cut him off. Do you have your own thoughts, feelings, stuff like that? There's a moment of silence that tells me that he does indeed have his own feelings. Feelings that are clearly annoyed right now.
That is not important.
Alright, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and pause it right there. Thank y'all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, leave a super thanks or a tip if you can. It always helps. And check out that Patreon, y'all. It really helps the channel. Anyway, I love you all. I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye-bye!